Hare Srinivasa. Today we are looking at the Suladhi on Lord Krishna, which has been composed by Prasanna Venkata Dasaru. Let us bow down to his feet and pray for the blessing so that we may be able to understand what he wanted to convey to the masses. Prasanna Varadam Jayet Prasanna Gunapuranam Prasanna Venkatam Vande Guru Bhavam Padashraye. I surrender at your feet, O Prasanna Venkatadasa. Please bless me so that I may understand your words in the right way. This second Suladhi talks about the form of Krishna first, and then how he was doing his Leelas in Vrindavan. When he was taking the avatar of Krishna, when he had taken the avatar of Krishna, he was playing about with the cows, the calves, the cowherds, the gopikas, and everyone. And that time was so beautiful. Even today, when people who are devoted about Krishna, who like him, who think about him in the most favorable way as the giver of all wealth, health, life, and everything, they feel a yearning for that time. They feel a yearning for that place also. At least the place is with us, the time is not. But once you go to the place, you still have that feel. The environment makes you feel like you are in the midst of that Lord, Shri Krishna. And to enhance such feelings, we have these kind of Devanamas and Suladis, which talk about his glory, specifically related to that time period. So here, the first Charana talks about his form, and Dasaru is so um, is so into that description that he even describes about the flowers that Krishna was wearing and how those flowers were so much full of fragrance and nectar that even the bees were coming around and moving about near his head. Bala Surya Niba Manyanka Mauli Heliyachan Pincha Pravala Gucha Malyar Aradande Ilivan Malya ಅಳರದಂಡೆ ಜೇಂಕರಿಪ ಆಲಿ ಬಾಲರಯ್ಯನ ಮೊಗದ ಶೋಭೆ ಭ್ರೂಲತೆ ವಿಲಾಸ ನೋಟದಿ ಮಕರ ಕುಂಡಲ ವಿಶಾಲೇರಿ ಸಿರಿವತ್ಸ ಕೌಸ್ತುಭ ನೀಲಮಾಣಿಕ ವಜ್ರವಲಯ ವೈಜಯಂತೀವನ ಮಾಲೆ ತುಳಸಿ ಗಂಧ ಮೌಕ್ತಿಕ ಸರಗಳ ನೀಲನದರ ತುನಧಾಮ పొన్న చేల నూపుర కిరుగెచ్చెయ గోపాల పరసన్న వెంకట కృష్ణ శ్యామళకాయ శ్యామళకాయ. He's talking about Krishna, who is of the form of the light bluish color, which is tinged with the darkness, like those of the rain clouds. The rain bearing clouds have a kind of bluish black. That kind of color was what we see in Krishna avatar. Krishna's form was bearing that color. And his head, he's talking about from head to toe. So his head was decorated with a beautiful mani anka. Mani means gems and jewels which are studded with in a small kirita. It was not so heavy. It was just slightly there on his head. And he had the peacock feather popping out, as well as one gonchalu. Gonchalu means one bunch of fragrant nectar-full flowers, which were also stuck out of his the curly hairs, locks that he had was bound, and on top of it, these two were there, which we see in most of the artists who contemplate on Krishna, because that is form described in the Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about how Krishna used to dress, or Yashoda used to dress him up with all these kind of ornaments. And he looked very, very wonderful because of that. And when we want to think about it, if we can think about the flowers which are jutting out of his locks in bunches and which are full of nectar and fragrance, we can imagine that, wherever there is nectar and fragrance, the bees come along. And so they could see some bees Dasaru could see some bees which are hovering about near the flowers. So he's saying, Jayankaripa Ali. And then Balarayana Mogada Shobhe. Paramatma's face was resplendent like the sun, he says. Bala Surya. Bala Surya means just rising sun. Because the sun's heat in the afternoon sun, it is very hot. Whereas the Bala Surya, what does it do? It just appears on the horizon and the entire darkness that was enveloping the world disappears. That is the power of Paramatma's face also. That is much more than that, of course, because this sun, it eliminates the darkness in the outside world. Whereas Paramatma's form, if you can contemplate in your own mind, then that eliminates the darkness in the mind and the antakarana too. So he is saying such a beautiful color. You can see the brightness that is glowing from his face. And he is like a um, his brew means his eyelashes, no, they are so pretty. They're like as if they are uh, a small creeper. How does the creeper go? It goes like this. So he says they look so beautiful, and his face has a beautiful look. He looks down, he looks at his devotees with so much of love. Makara kundala, his beautiful kundalas can be seen in the ears. Vishala Vishaleri, his chest is so Vishala, means his chest is very broad, and that broad chest signifies his karunya or compassion on the devotees. He forgives people for what they have done to him, and he uplifts them. He forgives and uplifts. That is seen in Krishnavatara in many instances. Because of what we have done, we have some kind of deformities in the body and mind. These are all eliminated by Krishna as he shows to his compassion towards the Trivakra. He removes her three places where she was deformed, and he makes her into a beautiful damsel. So where Paramatma's name and form is felt inside the heart and mind, there will not be any deformity. Such is his greatness. Vishalavada Vaksha. And there you can see the Srivatsa Chinna and Kaustuba Mani at the throat. Neela Manika, Vajra Valaya, Vaijayanti. Look at his beautiful koralu or the throat area where you can see the Neela Manika, the beautiful stone studded necklace, which is also, somewhat highlighting the color of his skin. His form is of bluish nature. That bluish stones of the sapphires are, are studded in those necklaces that he wears, and the blue contrasts with the diamond, which is white and of multicolors. And then he wears the Vaijayanti Mala, the Vanamala. The Vanamala is special in the Vrindavan forest. There used to be wonderful flowers of different colors, of different fragrances. And all the gopis used to string those flowers with so much love and devotion, and they used to offer it to Krishna. He was wearing that. That is, the flowers are nothing but the mind and the preeti or the love of the gopis. He was wearing it, and along with it, he was wearing tulasi, and he had the ganda also on his chest, and his chin. Mauktika Saragala Neela. He's saying that he was wearing so many wonderful money. Mauktika means made of monies or pearls and jewels like precious stones. He was wearing all these. Neelanada Ratuna Dhama. He was having a beautiful waistband on his waist, and he was looking very, very wonderful with his lovely feet, wearing the anklets, which are also golden in color, wearing small, small gedges. The gedges used to make tinkling sounds as he walked. Gopala, Prasanna Venkata Krishna, Shamala Kaya. Such a beautiful form of Paramatma is described by Prasanna Venkata Dasaru. Now he is talking about how these people of Vraja used to offer their devotion to him. Nanda Vrajada Govara Vrindambudige Purnenu Nandasunu Lasyavade. This Nanda Vraja was having so many gopas and gopis. These gopas and gopis together, they formed like a sea around which, what does the sea have? The sea and the moon are compared here to, the sea is compared to the groups of the Gopa Gopis, and the moon is compared to Paramatma. So here the Purna Chandra, which is Paramatma, he makes the sea to come up. Like during tides, you can see that the sea rises up. Like that way, the minds of the gopis and gopikas used to rise up when they set their eyes on Krishna. So Nanda's son, Krishna used to make the people's hearts flutter with devotion when he was walking along, when he set his eyes upon them. He used to dance and walk. Ondondu layada gati. As he used to walk, his feet used to take on a step, and that step was matched by Hundi Amara Dundubigalu. Those, as he used to walk, he used to move. And when he moved one step after the other, that itself used to have a rhythm to it. And that rhythm was matched by the Devatas, he says. The Dundubis and all those Dundubis and other ornaments which are played by the Devatas, Gandharvas, Apsaras and others, they could be heard matching his step. The way he walked or the way he danced along was like this, he says. Hundi, Layada Gati Hundi, Amara Dundubigalu, Dham, Dhaladham, Dham, Enna, Gandharva Tumburaru Narada, Naranda Mahati Gite. Mahati is a veena, and that veena was being played by Narada, Prabandha Heli. And he was telling about the Prabandha means beautiful kavita, beautiful verses which are in praise of Paramatma. And Nandarasa ದಿಂದ ಆಡುತ್ತಿರೆ, ನಂದರಸದಿಂದ ಆಡುತ್ತಿರೆ. Nandarasa means Anandarasa. Paramatma was enjoying this phase of his avatara in Vrindavan, and he used to be completely happy and giving happiness to all those who were around him. Govinda dham 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 dhimikkenna andadi madhal tala ಬಂದಿ ಹೋಗ ತುತ್ತೂರಿ ಕಹಳೆ ಕಂಬುವೇಣುಗೂಡಿ ಅಂದಾಡಿದ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ವೆಂಕಟ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಲಲವಿಂದ. Along with these instruments, there were so many other wonderful instruments which we only don't know the names, like bandi, voga, tutturi, kahale, kambu, and venu. We know venu. These are, venu is the flute which was also being played, and he was dancing to all these instruments, and with great grace as well as with wonderful brimming with happiness, which was spreading to everyone around. In the next charna, he says, Shri Kamalabha Bhurva Pinaki Vipahipa Naka Jadyara Cheshtaka Shri Kara Prasanna Venkata Krishna Akalankavara Vashagaha. Look at this beautiful Krishna, he says. Is he not the one who inspires Mahalakshmi? Is he not the one who inspires Chaturbhuka Brahma? Is he not the one who inspires Rudradeva? He is the inspirer or the preraka of every being that exists, including the greatest of great deities like Lakshmi, Brahma, Rudra, etc. And such a magnificent supreme deity, he is now playing about like a small boy in Vrindavan. And when the gopi says, Hey Krishna, come here, and then he goes running to her, and then she hugs him and she gives him a handful of butter. He eats it. Another gopi calls him, Hey Krishna, come here. He runs there. And then when she says, Look, your flowers are all dropping out. Let me put them properly. She ties up his hair again and puts the flowers in the right manner. You see how he is running to the calls of the gopis and the gopas. With so much of affection, they are calling him and he is running to them. Does he need to do it? He is the master of the world. He is the inspirer of everyone in the world. But yet he is under the spell of the devotion of the gopis. That is one of his compassion and benevolence on devotees. Devotees don't need to feel, oh, he is so magnificent, he has everything. Why would he listen to me? Why would he accept this handful of butter that I have? He is the one who makes the butter. He is the one who lives inside. I mean, he is the inspirer of everything, including the grass that grows in the fields, which the cow grazes on. And the cow, how does it manufacture milk? It only doesn't know how to do it. The grass goes inside and it becomes as milk and comes out. That one we are using to make curd and butter. How do we know how it happens? These are the things that we wonder when we look at Krishna. And that is why the Vedas and Upanishads say that those who know him, they know that they don't know him. Those who think that they know him, they don't know him. These are the wonderful ways that we can understand him. Because if we think we know him, we actually don't know. What do we know about him? We only know that he is all powerful. Why is he all powerful? Because he has so many infinite auspicious gunas which are not having any doshas, which other people are having. In the world, we can see who created this world. It's such a beautiful, wonderful place. None of these human beings could have created, because if we want to create something, we need a adhisthana, or the place where we can sit and do it. If there was no world at all, then where would we be? What are the samagris that we need to create something? Everything he can do. That is why he is supreme and he is different from everyone. He is not bound by any of the things that bind us. Ananta nigama nikarake nilukada anantananta guna paripurnage ಧೇನುಕಾವರ ಪಳ್ಳಿ ಗೋಟಲೆ ತೇಯಂ ತೇಯಂ ವಯ್ಯ ಅಯ್ಯ ಧೇನುಕಾವರ ಪಳ್ಳಿ ಗೋಟಲೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಮೋದ ಹಾನಿ ಕಳರ್ಗೀವ ಜ್ಞಾನಾನಂದ ಬಾಲ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ವೆಂಕಟ ಕೃಷ್ಣಗೆ ಅನಂತ ನಿಗಮ ನಿಖರಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಲುಕದ. He is not accessible. He is not known by even the greatest of the great people who study the Vedas. However much they may be advanced in the Vedas, they cannot understand him, they cannot know him. And the Shruti Tatigalige ಗೋಚರಿಸದ ಅಪ್ರತಿಹತ ಮಹೇಶ್ವರ್ಯಾದ್ಯ ಅಖಿಲ ಸದ್ಗುಣಗಣಾಂಬೋಧಿ ಪ್ರತಿದಿವಸ ತನ್ನಂಗ್ರಿ ಸೇವಾರತ ಮಹಾತ್ಮರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿಹ ಸಂಸ್ತುತಿಗೆ ಹಿಗ್ಗುವನು. That is his greatness. Ananta Nigamakke, Nikara means the groups of the Vedas, they are not able to completely portray him because he is Ananta, he is infinite. However much you try to count something which is infinite, it's not possible. And he was in this Gumpu of the Vedas, he is not recognizable. But in this Vrindavan, where these Denu Kavara means the cowherds, the place where the cowherds lived, he was living there with them. And he was dancing to the rhythm of the people around him. Dhenukavara Palli, Jnani Janake Moda. He is the one who danced in Vrindavan. He also gives Ananda to the Jnanis. At the same time, he destroys those who are Khalas or who are of very bad mind. Jnanananda Bala Prasanna Venkata Krishnage. So he's saying this Jnana Ananda Paripurna is the form of Krishna. He was described with a face, with a head, with an eye, with everything. And then how he danced in Vrindavan, how he responded to the cowherds and the gopis. But finally, he is of a form that is unrecognizable to us. He is of the form of Jnana and Ananda. Vaikunta Varijaksha Lokaraksha Toka Veshadara Murahara Sridhara Shrikara Gunanide Purana Purusha Hare Hare Gokulapate Govardhanadhara Vahakam Madani Karakara Prasanna Venkata Krishna Elo Bhakta Vatsala Vaikunta Varijaksha Lokaraksha. All his gunas are being described in that. Once you contemplate on that Krishna's form, think about him. He is Vaikunta. Vaikunta means a place where there is no defects, is what we know Vaikunta to be, somewhere where all the jivas who obtain moksha go. But Vaikunta means also that form which sustains that loka. And that is Krishna's form. Krishna's form is without any dosha. At any place, time, any of his gunas are not destroyed or any of his gunas are not attenuated. All the time, his gunas are complete and full. Varijaksha, his eyes are like those of a just bloomed lotus. Lokaraksha, he is the protector of the world. Toka Veshadara, he has now adorned this form of a he has now donned this form of a small boy who is playing about in Vrindavan. Actually, who is he? That is the identity of Krishna is disclosed by Prasna Venkatasaru here. So far, he was telling his face was like this and how he was playing and dancing among the cowherds. Now he is telling that same boy, Toka Veshadara, he is just taking this form of a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. But actually, who is he? He is the protector of the world. He is the one who graces his devotees with his beautiful eyes filled with compassion. Who is the Murahara Sridhara, who is the killer of the demon Mura, who gives Shri the Avakasha to do all her work. Who is the Ashraya for all the Devatas. Shrikara Gunanide, who is the bestower of uh, beatitude. Shrikara means Sampatkara. He bestows the wealth of in the world, whatever wealth is required by the devotees, he bestows that. He bestows the sampat, which is jnana, bhakti, and vairagya towards Vishya. Then he also bestows moksha, which is beatitude. Shrikara, gunanide. How do you obtain such benefactions from him? By understanding his gunas. That's why he's saying Shri Nide. He's gunanide. He is full of gunas. The gunas are that like a treasure house with him. And his form itself is that. Purana Purusha, this form of Krishna or Paramatma, which we see as in Gokul, he is actually Purana Purusha. Means there's no time when he was actually born, where there's no time when he was not having this form. All the time he's having this Jnananandamaya form and he makes himself appear as he wishes to the people around him. This Purana Purusha, who is a Virat Rupa, who is much more extending beyond the Brahmanda also. Yet he appears like a small boy to the people around him. That Purana Purusha is the creator of the world. Hare Hare, he is calling out to Krishna as Hare Hare. You are the one who removes my afflictions and who bestows grace on me, who bestows happiness on me. Gokula Pate, Govardhana Dhara. In Gokula, what did he do? Among the people of Gokula, he was the protector. Whenever there was some kind of apatu in Gokula, he used to be the Rakshaka. He has done the Putana's Vada, he has done the Dhenukasura Matana, he has done the, along with Balarama, that is, Kalinga was giving problem by contaminating the waters of Yamuna. He protected them by sending him to the Ramyaka Dvipa. These are the kind of benefactions that he has been doing all the time. That is, he is like the king of Gokula. Govardhanadhara. He carried the Govardhana on the tips of his small finger, thereby showing how much of Shakti he has, what he can do. And his form does not limit him because his form is just appearing to us like that. Normally, a small boy of 7 or 8 could not lift up a mountain with a small finger and then sustain all the people under that mountain for 7 days while the rain flowed around. But he is not the normal boy. He is the Jnanananda Parama Purusha. So he has bestowed on all the people who are worshipping him, like Indra and others, like Chandra, Surya, and everyone. He protects and uplifts them. Prasanna Venkata Krishnana, Yellow Bhaktavatsala. You are doing all this for all the people around you who are worshipping you, and that is your Vatsalya Guna. Just as the mother is pleased with the child's antics and she carries him and gives him the blessings as well as grace, similarly, you do that for your children in the form of devotees. ಶುಭ ಕೀರ್ತನೆ ಜಿಹ್ವೆಗೆ ಶುಭ ಕತೆ ಕಿವಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಶುಭ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಕಣ್ಗೆ ಅಯ್ಯ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ವೆಂಕಟ ಕೃಷ್ಣಯ್ಯ. So this Bhaktavatsala is bestowing his devotees with their innate desires. So let us ask for Shubha Kirtane. Let the names of your wonderful forms gunas, kriyas be upon my lips all the time. Shubha khate kivigalige. Let the beautiful nectar of your glories flow into my ears all the time. Shubha Murti Kangalige. Let my eyes set upon your murtis, your figures, your pratikas all the time. And Prasanna Venkata Krishnaya. So Prasanna Venkata is the Bimba Rupa of Prasanna Venkatadasru. He worships him and he beseeches him. Inside the Bimba is the one who does all the prayer. So he is giving the prayer to that Bimba Rupa, asking him to enable the Sankirtana through the lips and the tongue, listening of the Katha through the ears, and seeing the forms of God through the eyes. As these three indriyas, they uplift the sadhaka. Let us all join in that same prayer along with Dasaru and pray for the same thing. Because sadhana is nothing but thinking about God, talking about Him, seeing His forms, and listening to His glory with deep devotion. Let us now offer this to Paramatma. स्मद्गुरु अंतर्गत भारती रमण मुख्य प्राणांतर्गत श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण प्रेरण्य लक्ष्मी नारायण प्रीत्यर्थम श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु. हरे श्रीनिवास.